everybody, this is David Whitehead with Modern Knowledge, and we are here in the beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, here with the lovely Dr. Carmen Boulter. How you been doing?
Great, thank you.
Awesome that you're here, you're attending the event. What do you think of the event so far?
The event is absolutely fantastic. I'm so surprised at how frustration over the years of non-disclosure has led people to be so amusing. Because they're really driving the point home of how ridiculous it is that the world is being held ransom, and even though all these different countries have disclosed, as long as the United States doesn't, everybody's following along.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, speaking of disclosure, you take this subject all the way back, not just about what's going on now, but all the way back throughout human history. And we're very excited to host you on the upcoming Modern Knowledge Tour in August. And just maybe you could tell people what you're going to be touching on in that presentation.
Well, I've kind of held out on you, and I haven't really told you what I was going to be doing because I've been working on this really big project. I just came back from Egypt a few days ago. And the meeting, I've been working with a team from Belgium, Spain, and England. And we just came back from meetings with high-level officials and the National Research Institute, and we've now shortlisted principal archaeologists to apply to the Supreme Council of Antiquities for permission to dig at a site. Now, this is similar to 2012 in February. When I went with a hot air balloon, I found a site on GPS, and it seemed to have characteristics that could fit the descriptions of a place that I've been looking for 25 years.
Really?
So I spent 5 years in and out of holes in the Giza Plateau. I'd go on the plateau every night before the big wall went up with permission, but after the plateau was closed in Giza, near the Great Pyramid. And finally I went, you know what, I don't think it's here. So then I went looking for it in the middle of the open desert in a military zone with a hot air balloon to approach a Russian scientist and some fancy equipment for measuring, and there were landmines all over the place, totally different, dangerous. That wasn't it. It turned out that it was a target for the Air Force for military purposes. And I went, okay, fine. And that was 3 years ago. So again, there's a site that's known in Egypt, but it's never been excavated. And Herodotus talked about it in 450 BC. And I'm not going to tell you everything, but I will tell you that I did find it on GPS. There's lots of work that's been done with teams, but they haven't been looking deep enough. And through my association with Klaus Donna, who I met when I was speaking at the Hidden Mysteries tour in Bosnian Pyramids, he arranged for a high-definition, satellite-based scan to be done that is so sophisticated it can go as many as 6 kilometers down into the earth. It can see through different layers. It can ascertain the difference between precious metals, pottery, water, empty space, diamonds, oil, whatever. It can differentiate. It's using quantum physics, logarithmic, longitudinal wave formula, which is software. And the success that they've had with the scan being really accurate is outstanding. So, not being able to show you the scan, but I do hold a copyright on it, and they're all listening. This is extremely deep. I can't even begin to tell you how deep. Let's say just more than 30 meters deep. 30 meters deep.
Wow.
There are 93 chambers, so I measured each room. 6 of them are bigger than Olympic-sized swimming pools. All of them are bigger than the average size house.
Actual chambers that we're talking about.
And there's 1.5 kilometers of passageways between them. 2 distinct levels. The levels don't connect. And there's 6 of them. Well, I shouldn't say this on the air, but I will. 6 of the rooms have gold. So we're arranging for geodesic domes and boreholes, and we don't know, again, if we're going to have permission to do it, but just like everybody's talking in there. We're taking all these steps, we're addressing Congress. We're not getting anywhere yet, but we may be getting somewhere. But the joy here is I've got the scan. It seems to be accurate. I've got footage. I went to the site the other day. I've got permission to film everything. So if anybody wants to hide it away, I've got the footage and I can tell the story.
Starting there, you know you found something. That's amazing.
And so I may be going back in a couple of weeks. We don't know how fast it's going to go, or slow, or what they'll do. But I've been given the blessing that they'll support my application. They're telling us what gets accepted and what doesn't get accepted. And I wasn't sure if I could tell you or should tell you, but now I did.
Well, thank you, because we're on the verge of something, and that could be happening and growing within the next few months, and we're only about 3 months away from the August tour.
Yeah, but I still have plenty I can share with you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Well, let's talk about the fact that you know, and your research has shown, that we've got civilizations that have existed long time on this planet, a lot older than most archaeologists will be willing to admit.
That's right.
So why don't you let people know just a little bit about your research in that field?
Well, the Pyramid Code documentary series is aired in, I don't know, 38 or more countries on national television.
It's on Netflix as well?
It's on Netflix in 7 countries, and it's been shown on YouTube to many lengths. Millions, 40 million people at least have seen it. The premise of that is that what they've told us about Egypt isn't true. But the whole idea of the migration of the Nile and going through longer distances of time, so the distance from the Nile speaks to the antiquity of a site. And this site's 30 kilometers in the Nile. And in archaeology, older is deeper. And with technology, newer is better.
Yeah, that's right.
So to have access, because a lot of the other stuff that's been done there is ground penetrating radar that only goes down 5 meters, 8 meters, not deep enough.
Yeah.
So if they excavated, they wouldn't find anything. So all of this stuff about putting the whole situation back together and including the possibility of 100,000 years ago. We don't know how old. But the thing is with archaeology, you have your hypothesis, which is a scan, and then you need verification. We gotta go look. We gotta go. But there's been all this stuff about water being on this site, and so I'm working on a new documentary series that's really explaining all the different ways that the site has been camouflaged, if you will, so that no one will excavate there. And we're breaking through all that in terms of that it's. I went there. There's no water. There's water inside the pyramid. Anyway, so all of it's coming together to expose an extreme antiquity of humankind. But probably some pretty interesting records, because the chambers are independent and they're not all connected. And the 2 levels seem to be built in different ways and they don't connect. So we could be looking at 2 levels of civilization. But then the Ptolemaic layer from the end of the Egyptian dynasties and the Roman layers have already been excavated. And so older is deeper.
So we just haven't been digging for the truth deep enough. We haven't had the ability to see it. And now we're in the age, like you said, we've got advanced technology, we're learning more and more, and you're really able to put those puzzle pieces together.
That's right, and it's called space archaeology, and it's just coming over the crest. And there have been a few people who've done scans and then gone to Egypt, and I'm speaking with Sarah Parsak actually at the Global Pyramid Conference in Chicago. There's actually a golden pyramid, and Dr. Sam's going to be there from the Bosnian pyramids. And the organizer says she's looking for women to talk about pyramids. And I'm like, where are you going to find that? I mean, usually I'm the only one on the speaker circuit. And she mentioned this woman's name, and she had done a TED talk where they found this place that looked like there was some kind of a village under the surface. And with space archaeology, and I'm sure their technology is slightly different than ours, but then they went to Egypt and they dug a borehole down and they pulled up pottery and a beam. And then they went, okay, there's something down there. Now you still have to excavate, but this sort of thing is being accepted now, and it stands to reason that we have to modernize the technology. But it's not that easy to get your hands on it. It's not that easy to get, the scans processed in a big hurry.
Now, I know you hinted at it, but in all your work and all your research, you traveled the world, you've been to Egypt multiple times. Have you felt that there's really just more of a push in shutting this information down from reaching the public now, or do you feel like something's about to break?
I feel like
Stephen Bassett, right? He's talking about how we're inching towards it in this area as well, ancient history of human race. Is there something about to break?
Absolutely, I think so. Now we know that Zahi Hawass had it, stranglehold on all things Egyptian, and I get to Egypt this time, and the new Zahi's put in front of me, and they're all very open. It's a new regime, and there's still issues. It's still government offices. It still has to be academic, formal, official. The government has to be involved in all of that. And I've seen them say yes, 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 yes. But the door's still open. And I've already gone to the site. I've already filmed at the site. I've got the scan. I've shown it to a few of the high-level officials. And of course, they went speechless for half an hour. And I think the breakthrough's here. And I'm working with a 3D animator who's done a lot of different fancy stuff in big movies. And we can, if we can do the borehole and get a 3D mapping of the thing, we can virtual reality show it. Because a lot of people aren't going to travel to Egypt, even though it's perfectly normal and perfectly safe over there. The media is drumming all this stuff up. But I intend to finish this story one way or another, with or without the dig. But I'd really like to do the dig.
You'd like to do the dig. Well, we're very excited that you're going to be part of the tour. I hope you've got even more information that's going to come in over the next few months. But either way, I know it's going to be fantastic. I know you spoke in the past about how important it is. A lot of people might think, okay, this is all fine and good. This is fascinating to go look into this, but you've also struck upon that this is important for us to learn. This is very valuable. We can't really know where we're going in the future unless we have a good vision of the past. So would you have anything to really comment on in that regard about why this is important?
Well, what I find interesting, even with my team, is they're saying things like, let's get a guy who's an expert in hieroglyphic, not woman. But hieroglyphic isn't really defined properly. It's more like quantum physics, and we're building models on that. But everybody's still looking through the patriarchal lenses of what we already know. And I'm like, how do you know what's down there? Oh, it's in the bedrock. How do you know? And so that's, like, I think that if we can anchor something that blows our mind, Ethel, wake up, look what they found.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is. That sense of fascination is what brings us to hope. The same old, yeah. Same old. We're so tired of that it's really important, even if we don't know what it is, even if we can't, describe it. But I'm pretty sure it's going to blow everybody's mind, including mine. We had a moment with the team sitting in Cairo where we went, what if what we find is really strange? I said, probably will be. And then we all kind of had this moment of trepidation, because for sure it's not the same old,
Yeah.
because they have not dug that deep. And essentially it's sand. It's just about vacuuming the sand out of the site. So it's still mission impossible, but I'm quite optimistic.
But you're the right woman for the job. Dr. Carmen Boulter, thank you so much for what you do. You're a hero to me. You're a real truth warrior, and I really am honored to have you a part of this tour. And I can't wait to interview you again, because I know you've got a lot of information. You might even be holding out on me yet, but I'm going to get it out of you one way or another.
Yeah, you've got quite a lot out of me, I'll say, and I'm delighted to be participating in this. Thank you so much for the work you do.
Awesome. Thanks, Carmen.